What up, guys? It's your girl ManicMeeks, and I am back with more Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And if you're enjoying this series, or any series I've done before, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm here, you're here, let's be here together. So, I just got through with the side mission. That literally took 30 minutes, and now I'm going to go to the main mission. After I swerve to the store.
How is everything? Check out what I've got.
First of all, I just think it's real funny that this missionary's got these big ass guns. Let me go to the cell first. Let me see. Yeah, these just say sell to merchant, so I guess I can sell all of them.
Good deal. I'm sure you will be satisfied.
Because I didn't... Okay.
Good deal.
I'm full on these. Let's half that, because I don't really use them. I don't shoot a lot of arrows. More than half. I like even numbers.
That's a good deal.
I'm full on these, so I don't know how many of those I'll need.
Good deal.
I think everything else is fine. Alright, now go to buy. I don't really gather much ammo. I feel like I want to buy a gun. Let me just get this one.
I'm sure
Or I can actually get both of them.
That's
and still
a
get
good
this
deal
piece.
for both of us. I'm sure you will be satisfied.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the rest of that.
I'll be here if you want to deal some more.
Where's the nearest campfire? Is that behind me? Oh, hold on. Let me just talk to him.
Even Maya
Interrupting your stories.
You must be Manu.
Who's that? Who's there?
She's the one who found the treasure.
Is that right, Diego? Well, what can I do for you?
I overheard you telling the children about the Maya ruins.
Finally, someone who pays attention.
Well, you were right about the crosses. Isabella followed them to a hidden crypt.
Ha! I knew it! No one ever listens to old Manu.
You were right twice.
So you were. And I kept telling the truth about those Maya ruins.
I recognize something in your voice. The thrill of discovery, of finding something someplace unseen for hundreds or even thousands of years.
There is something thrilling about that, isn't there?
There's no feeling like it. The taste of stale, dusty air still gets my heart racing. These modern people, these so-called realists, they close themselves off from such wondrous possibilities. They can't even imagine some of the things I've seen. That I would give anything to see again one last time.
Perhaps I could be your eyes, your witness of those Maya ruins.
Good at that, yes.
Do you remember where the ruins were?
Now, where were they? I remember a pool fed by 3 waterfalls. I wish I could give you better directions, but it's been so many years.
I know where those are.
I should be able
But I'm not
to
going to do
find
that
it.
right now.
And when I do, I'll come back and
I just
tell
wanted
you
to talk to
all
Manu.
about it.
Oh, if you could do that for me. Touch that history. I would be so...
Appy.
Say no more, Manu. I'll find it.
Boom, boom, boom. I love the music. Okay, actually, I was looking for this. Boop. The document. Is it up? No, it's just on the table.
This document outlines the goals and works of the mission of St. John. In addition to their individual spiritual goals and their outreach programs, the people here are clearly passionate about contributing to the nearby communities. Education, literacy, healthcare, even donating a portion of the food they
That's
raise.
love. Alright, so I got that. Now, I can go ahead and get this one before I go into the library and continue the mission. Look at that, a whole 7 minutes later. There it is.
This document describes the founding of the mission. There were 4 solar eclipses in this region around that time, in 1521, 1538, 1539, and 1543. Spanish missionaries reported that during each one, a vision of John the Apostle appeared on this site. So in his honor, the mission of St. John was built here in 1544.
Pretty cool. The scramble, not necessary. Being nosy.
Some of those kids are so high-spirited. I need a little break. Don't tell the sisters. I could use a little spirits myself some days, but this mission does not allow alcohol. So I have to settle for the few moments of quiet.
That's nice. Alright. I don't think I've been back here. See? See, look at this. All this unlooted stuff? I didn't think to go back here. Oh, I was back here with the kids. Okay, yeah, I didn't go this way. Okay, yep, I remember seeing that. Okay, yep, alright. We're going. I will be productive. The whole 10 minutes later. Alright, let's go to the library. I thought there was a box up there. Okay, all set. Wow.
Feels like a mausoleum.
Means we're on the right track, right?
How do people let stuff get like this?
Jonah, I feel something. We're getting close. Let's look around for signs of Lopez.
These notes were written by the founder of the Sector 7. They're talking about funds allocated for renovations to the library.
Huh. Whoop, 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 whoop. What is this? A journal entry.
The others are worried that Brothers de la Cruz and Serrano will not return. I have so far maintained they will, that they always have. But in my heart, I am beginning to believe we have seen the last of them, and that grief weighs heavily. We will continue their work. Either they will return to find we have not forgotten the teachings, or they will look down on us from above and bless our continued labors. The door closed and a silence settled, so great and so vast I held my breath for fear of breaking it. Lopez turned to me, his eyes wild, a smile screwed across his face. He came toward me, arms outstretched, and for a moment fear flickered across my heart. But he pulled me close, his fingers digging into my shoulders. I found it, he whispered in my ear, and releasing me, he wandered through this room. Walls of pure jade reaching up to the heavens, completely covered in intricate etched mosaics and carved figures. I followed at a distance as he approached an altar, and watched as he lifted a silver box from it.
I'm just trying to figure out where he hid it.
This cross, it looks like it's from the 17th century.
Nothing else? Huh. Oh, I missed something in here. What did I miss? Oh. No. Already got the one out of there. What did I miss? Oh, here. So... it won't let me do anything. No. No. It's got to be behind here. Right? It's not that. Yeah, it's got to be on the outside. I don't know where it's at. I'm just pushing the button at this point, going through the room. No. And it won't let me shoot in here, so I can't see if that's the wall. There's that one.
25th December, 1603. It has been 4 days since we turned away from the city. We traveled in silence and in circles, guided by a confusion of grief, relief, and celebration. Lopez and I exited the jungle and landed in a clearing, under the gaze of several faces carved into the side of the mountain. Lopez had an episode, as he later called it. He threw himself in front of the faces and screamed for forgiveness. The heaviest sin on his heart was abandoning Perez to the strange warriors. They had grown close over the journey. Try as I might, I could not console him. So I built a fire and waited, as he decreed his actions and pleaded for forgiveness from the silent stone faces.
That was not the one that was in here. Ooh.
A heron and an eclipse.
Okay, there's just so much. Like, where's the next one? I'm trying to find all the things. It's kind of bothering me that I'm missing them. Ah.
And under his wings you may seek refuge. Under his wings. And under his wings you may seek refuge.
Still not that one. Maybe it's upstairs. Yep. I wonder why these were put into the wall.
26th of December, 1603. Lopez woke me, having already prepared a Spartan breakfast. This is where we were meant to be, he said, a cold determination in his voice, so very different from how he acted just the day before. I finished my meal as he spoke of holy retribution, how he had acted in error, but now God had put his hands on his shoulders and shown him the path to walk. We will spread the true word of God from this small mission, he said, pointing to an adobe building just beyond the stone faces. We will prepare the path for the chosen one to follow, for only he who does will be worthy of this box.
Oh, that is nice. Okay. That's a giant clue. That is a giant, giant clue. I thought I could go through there for a second. That's why I made a face.
Jonah, this book describes a stranger's arrival at the mission. He founded the Sect of Seven. Maybe that was Lopez.
Like on the pamphlet. We must be getting close. We should keep going.
What the French oh, it's got to be on the other side then. Can I look at these? No? Trying to do a sweep. Oh, here's the other one.
The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Jonah, those two Bible quotes. The sun will be darkened, and under his wings you may seek refuge.
What does it mean?
That's it. Look for a heron and an eclipse.
Okay, soon, right after I get this. Right after I get this. That was not it.
Tardaremos ¿cuántos años? Un paso a la vez, un día a la vez, como si tuviéramos.
Stone faces weep as Jesus creeps along the dolorous path. Too many died. More will still, and more will still, and more will still. His light leads the way.
That's the last one. Yeah, okay. This is just fascinating to me. Let's not jump into the middle there. I will take those condor wings, though. Yep.
John, son of Zebedee, one of Jesus' apostles, also called the beloved disciple. He and his brother, James, were known for their impetuousness and temper, which prompted Christ to start calling them Boanerges, sons of thunder. John is credited with writing 5 books of the New Testament, the Gospel of John, the 3 epistles of John, and the book of Revelation. He's the patron saint of love and loyalty, as well as writers, publishers, and scholars. One of his symbols is a serpent in a cup, which is linked to his patronage of victims of poisoning and burns.
Am I looking for... It might be downstairs, though. Yeah, it might be downstairs. Why don't you let me jump down? So... Is it down here? I was just there. Oh!
There's a whole mural under here. Veracruz, the true cross.
it is?
The silver box. It's unmistakable.
Jesus takes up the cross. These are the stations of the cross. But there's a bunch missing.
Before 1600, there were only 7. This could date back to the time of Lopez.
This is one of his clues.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing he does.
All right. Let's see if we can find a cross lying around here somewhere.
Around here?
When we find the box, how do we get the key back from Dominguez?
Fight him! Murder him! So we're looking for an actual physical cross. It better not be upstairs.
Etzli is young to have all that responsibility. Must be pretty hard for him.
I can only imagine.
Found something?
Yeah. Jesus takes up the cross. Help me lift this.
It does, yeah. Ooh. How did they build this?
That actually worked.
A long way down. Let's see where this leads.
Ma'am. Ma'am, those are spider webs. Ma'am. Ma'am. And more ma'am. Holy shnikes.
Thanks.
Station 2. Jesus falls the first time.
There's an inscription here. Ambulate dum
Have to
lucem
use the light beam
habitis.
to follow the station walk while you have the light.
Okay, hold on. I know exactly what you mean. But I'm trying to actually, you know...
That did it.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to be buried in here. My head tossed behind a cross somewhere.
Walk while
This
you
is
have
so
the light,
good.
so that the darkness may not overtake you
Sounds like a hint.
or a threat.
This looks like the Virgin Mary.
Station 3. Jesus.
I can't believe they built all this.
The mirror looks dusty.
How do you clean it?
I'll give you a boost.
Don't break it.
Hey, it worked. Lead this way.
There's nothing else in here? Oh my gosh. I'm thoroughly amazed by this.
What happened to these people?
Looks like the light activated something.
Laura! Are you alright? You're lucky it was a little rusted.
This must be Station 4.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at these frescoes. It looks like he's accepting the cross here.
Look, someone else got close. He wasn't as lucky.
So they had to pick the right ones?
There's a woman in this one. Have to use the light beam to follow the stations of the cross.
These people look like they were tortured. All up in the ceiling.
I don't think this was just a crypt.
So I have to move it to the right one. I'm confused. I thought I had to move it to the right one.
You sure that's the right one?
There was a woman in that one. What was this one? Hold on.
Have to use the light beam to follow the stations of the cross.
So this one was not it. Well, which one's the right one? I wish they'd told me the messages again. Okay. It's not that one. I think she said this one has a woman in it. Oh, I have to push it. Ah, shit. Fuckery. Okay, this one, no. That one, no. I can't remember. Shit. Not that one. I couldn't remember which order I started with, because one of those has a woman in it, and it's not right. So I need to go to the...
This must be Station 4. Let's have a look at
Okay, this is what I needed to do. So I started to the left.
There's a woman in this one.
There's a woman in this one, to the left.
Look, someone else got close. He wasn't as lucky.
And I tried this one last time.
It looks like he's accepting the cross here.
These people look like they were tortured. All up in the ceiling.
I don't think this was just a crypt. I'll get it.
Because that's the one I set it on, right? Let me be wrong again. Alright, got it.
Station 5. Jesus falls a second time.
This is fantastic. Are those little kids?
think it is?
The Stations of the Cross again.
But with mummies. Isn't this sacrilegious?
Not necessarily. They could have been paying the ultimate homage.
Or they were just sick.
This must be Station 6.
Oh.
Have to use the light beam to follow the Stations of the Cross.
Looks like a church. These ones are posed like monks.
Oh my gosh. So I have to read this? Oh, shoot.
They're carrying him. They're lifting him.
So Lopez staged the whole crucifixion with mummies? Seems sacrilegious.
I think this was a place of worship for an underground sect.
Literally. I guess this is a sect from the pamphlet.
She's wiping his face, I think.
This is disgusting. I'm glad I wasn't around when Lopez was.
Jesus, nailed to the cross.
That inscription. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul. Is that meant for us?
Don't let Lopez get in your head. He's caused enough trouble already.
Okay, let's do this.
Think he's taking up the cross. He's carrying the cross.
Trying to find the one that I'm in right now. Because there's one, it's like a pamphlet that I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm trying to find the pamphlet that has the order of the crosses, the miracle mission. This.
Now this is
No.
a fascinating...
Not that one. Record of disaster mission statement. This!
Strange, there are only 7 stations. This must be based on an older tradition. Jesus takes
Meets his
up the
mother.
cross, falls the first time, meets his mother. Then Veronica wipes his face before he falls.
Veronica
the second
wipes his
time.
face.
Then he is crucified, and finally entombed.
So I need the face wipe. Okay.
They're lifting him. She's wiping his face. I
This one.
think.
This one. Okay. Whoa. How do I move it? Oh wait, there's a... this, right? Okay, I caught the light. Now I need to rotate it. Shit, not that one. Dang it! I thought the wiping the face was first. It says Veronica wipes his face before the fall.
Looks like a church.
Well, we
These
already
ones are closed
fell.
like monks.
So this is Station 6 where he's crucified.
They're lifting him.
So Lopez staged the whole crucifixion with mummies? Seems sacrilegious.
I think this was a place of worship. Jesus, nailed to the cross. I think he's taking up the cross. He's carrying the cross.
This is disgusting. I'm glad I wasn't around when Lopez was.
So,
That inscription. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul. Is that meant for us?
Don't let Lopez get in your head. He's caused enough trouble already.
Okay, let's do this.
how do I get it to go over here? Wasn't it a miracle mission? Yes.
Strange, there are only 7 stations. This must
Jesus
be
takes
based
the
on an
cross,
older
falls first
tradition.
time,
Jesus
meets
takes
his
up the
mother.
cross, falls the first time, meets his mother. Then Veronica wipes his face before he falls the second time. Then he is crucified, and finally
So he's
entombed.
crucified. Okay. But how do I get it over there? I'm so confused. Like I can't go any further.
What's the first step of the crucifixion?
Not sure. Maybe it's on
I have to go in order. Oh, I thought I had to pick the one that we're on right now. Hold on. Okay, it's not lit up. Takes the cross is the first one. So
He's carrying the cross. I think he's taking the cross.
I think this one. But how do I get the light over here? This is about to be a 2-hour freaking... How do I get the light? There has to be a way for me to catch this light. Like I can shift it or something? Can I... Would... I have to be able to turn the light on there. Like turn the...
Have to use the light beam to follow the stations of the cross.
I know that, but where is the one that switches the middle one? Because first he takes the cross. And then he falls.
He's carrying the cross.
This is going to drive me insane. I might have to cheat to figure out how to rotate this. I don't understand where the rotating for that is. Because this is the one for here. So it's got to be... I feel like it's got to be a wheel or something. Like another wheel. Because I can't go... Oh my god, did I just knock that down? I'm so sorry. I did not mean to knock that down. Oh, this is going to drive me insane. How do I rotate the freaking mirror? Do I need to rotate the mirror? I know this isn't right.
They're carrying him.
Yep. I'm so confused on how to get the big light in the air to switch to the other side so that I can reach it.
Looks like a church. These ones are posed like monks.
How do I get it on this side? Jesus Christ. Literally. Literally. Oops. Too far. Miracle mission.
Strange, there are only 7 stations. This must be based on an older
Takes up the
tradition.
cross.
Jesus
Takes up the cross is the first one.
Falls the first time. Meets his mother. Then Veronica...
How do I get him to take up the cross? From this side.
So Lopez staged the whole crucifixion with mummies? Seems sacrilegious.
I think this was a place of worship for an underground sect.
Literally. I guess this is a sect from the pamphlet.
Is there something to rotate it?
This is disgusting. I'm glad I wasn't around when Lopez was.
I honestly have no idea.
That inscription. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul. Is that meant for us?
Don't let Lopez get in your head. He's caused enough trouble already.
Oh my gosh, do I have to bounce it off the other? Hold on. No! I was hoping I could bounce it off that one, but that's the end-game one.
What's the first step of the crucifixion?
Not sure. Maybe.
Strange, there are only 7 stations.
I synced that. I synced it. However, I can't get to the other side! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to. Hold, please.